so cold. Really trying hard to wake myself up for this Orange Theory class in about 30 minutes. It's not even that early. The class is at 8:45, it's 8:15. I just, for some reason, woke up so tired. Gotta chug this coffee. Okay, Orange Theory workout is done. I feel like I say it every time, but it was a tough one. But it was good. I really like the 8:45 a.m. workout time. That just feels like a good time. But what I really need to do now, and I am in the parking lot to get my gel nail polish taken off. I attempted to do this yesterday, and that's what we're left with, and I feel like I destroyed my nails. So it's not gonna be more than 10 bucks. I just need to get it off. I just tried to do it myself because I felt like if I went to the salon, I was gonna be tempted to get another gel manicure. So I'm going to a different salon that I don't like as much, so I'm not gonna be tempted, and it's just a price I do not need to pay. I was getting manicures when I was having in-person interviews for the job market, but I'm no longer having those. So we're gonna cut this expense out of our budget and let my nails breathe for a second. Okay, I'm very sweaty. I clearly need to wash my hair. Got the gel taken off, thank goodness. And I really wanted to stop at Dunkin' on the way home, but I made a coffee at home. Ooh, that's good. I wish that I had more ice. I only had 4 ice cubes, and then I brewed like a hot double pod, so it's a little warmer than I'd like, but it is what it is. I hope wherever I move next has an ice maker, because I grew up with an ice maker. I think everyone in Florida has one. So like these ice cube trays are sort of just a lot. I'm gonna eat a little second breakfast. I just ate a protein blueberry muffin before I went, and now I'm gonna eat the cereal. I got it on a whim at Costco when Megan and I went a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it better be good because this is a big old bag of it, and it was a little expensive, but it is good, it keeps me full, and I really like to eat it with some strawberries mixed in. Showered, did my hair, feel put together in a cute little fit. Now I'm ready to do some work for the day at a coffee shop. I'm gonna use my viewfinder here to put on some chapstick because my hair is really dirty and I need to clean it. Aquaphor until I die. So I realized I never introduced myself. So hi, I'm Sarah, if you're new here. I'm a final year PhD candidate in English in the rhetoric program and soon to be professor of writing studies, which I'm still wrapping my head around. It's still so wild to me. Sorry if this clip is really noisy. It's like really windy outside. We are supposed to get a really big storm tonight around 7. So it's only like noon now, so I think it's safe to go out for now. But I'm gonna meet my friends at Hive Coffee Shop, or it's really like a cafe, sort of like a restaurant because they serve food too, and it's been one of my favorite places to go to as of late. We're gonna work together for a couple hours, and I will be working on the 4th chapter of my dissertation, which I wanted to have done last week, but it's okay. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought, as writing does. This is my pedagogy chapter. This is where I'm talking all about the class that I taught in the summer of 2023, so almost 2 years ago, and it was a way of testing out and attempting to implement the theoretical and pedagogical framework that I build and articulate in the first 3 chapters of my dissertation. The framework is called embodied multimodal composition, and so I'm at the point now in this chapter where I have given a sort of overview of the course. I've talked about the major assignments. I have brought in examples of student work, really worked to analyze them. I think I worked harder than I needed to, because unfortunately at this point, I don't have enough time to get into the weeds in the way that like I want to. We're working on just getting it done. And so I'm at the point now where I need to clearly articulate, I'm aiming for 3 pedagogical principles of what it looks like to design and teach a class that is centered around and engaging in the framework of embodied multimodal composition. So I have 2 principles identified already that I've sort of been like talking about throughout the chapter, but I really want to come up with a 3rd one. And I know that it's there. So I think I just need to reread the 20 pages that I have for the chapter so far, like the 12,000 words, and sort of like analyze my own writing, I guess, and like try and pull out a theme that is the other pedagogical principle. So I'm trying to remember what I have for the first 2. The first one is that all writing is embodied and classes designed with EMC work to make this apparent. And when I say embodied, I mean that bodies are impacting writing in 3 ways. Our fleshy bodies, our physical sensations, our cultural bodies, the way that we're sort of culturally and socially situated by gender, race, other social categories like that. And then our lived experiences also are impacting our writing. And then the other one is something along the lines of classes designed and taught with a body multimodal composition, with that framework, engage students in practices of rigorous reflection on their own bodies and ideally on their audience's diverse bodies and their audience's diverse needs. I'm thinking of like a inclusive design and universal design, disability studies perspective here when I'm talking about audience. And the 3rd principle, I don't know yet. I think it needs to be something about like multimodality, the digital in a specific way, like draws connections maybe between the digital and bodies. I guess I'll find out in the work session today. Well, not as productive as I hoped. We yapped a lot. Joanna ended up joining me and Jamie, but you know, it's okay. Work will get done. I really focused on just like more big picture things than I thought I would. I started to get just like worried about the pedagogical principles that I talked about and if they feel just like randomly inserted into this 4th chapter. And then I was like, oh, none of my chapters have titles. Let me try and come up with titles for them. Let me think about how the opening narrative vignettes that I have in the beginning of each of my chapters are like lining up with one another. And then I realized I don't have one for this 4th chapter, but I somehow still feel okay. It is pretty late. It's like after 4 p.m. But I am going to work tonight. I have like specific things that I need to get done and I will not stop until I get it done tonight. And then I have a specific task that I want for tomorrow and then chapter's done. So the goal is to finish the chapter by tomorrow. So that's exciting. I also have some cookies in the oven, just like little Pillsbury, like, you know, I wanted to call them like easy bake, like an easy bake oven cookies. Gonna take a little bit of a break. Break from what? I don't know. And watch an episode of Southern Charm with Megan. And then we're going to get into things. She's supposed to work at the Writing Center tonight, but because of the big storm, they moved her online. So we're gonna have to like motivate each other to work. 5:57 p.m. Finally gonna lock in for the day. I tried earlier at that coffee shop at Hive, but you know, it is what it is. Also, my woodwick candle is burning, so once again, probably gonna be a bit of a noisy clip. But I have my strawberry vanilla lollipop, and I really just want to get through this one section, which is the task that I told you. Pedagogical principles, going back through the chapter, looping everything in, looping everything together in this chapter specifically. Not gonna get bogged down with like the gist as a whole. I don't think it's gonna be too bad. And that leaves me with a manageable task for tomorrow. That means I can finish the chapter. Okay, been working for like, I don't even know how long. Feels like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I'm just like constantly torn between wanting to do more and wanting to say more and wanting to push things further. Like I have all these principles that I outlined for embodied multimodal composition, and I want to like explain each one with its own like 1-page explanation, but I can't because I'm on a super strict deadline and there's a lot that I have to do for this disc. And also, I know that it doesn't need it. I know that it makes sense as is. It's just like I always want to push things further. So however long the dissertation ends up being, like 60,000 words or whatever, just know that I feel like I could have written like twice that. It is a little after 10 o'clock, 10:03, and the storm is just now picking up. Things are starting to get crazy. I don't know why I'm opening up my blinds. You won't be able to see anything. It's dark out. But lots of lightning, lots of thunder and wind and rain. I thought that it was supposed to start earlier, around like dinner time, like 6 or so. The library actually shut down at 6 just for safety of everyone on campus, which doesn't happen a lot. Like Megan worked at the writing center and they moved her shift online tonight because it typically meets in the library. But yeah, life is normal for me. I continued working. I worked for about 2 hours tonight and I didn't get a whole lot of words on the page, and the phrase just kept like reverberating in my mind of something my advisor says all the time, is like, write what wants to be written, which was not this chapter tonight. So I started writing the beginning of actually the conclusion of the diss, which I don't think is going to be very long. It's gonna be like 2,000 words, but I don't even know if what I wrote is gonna end up like making it into the final version of the conclusion. It sort of just feels like a journal entry at this point. But I did have a lot of thoughts about something in the diss that was haunting me a little bit in this 4th chapter. Something that I wrote, didn't feel like I had enough time to like fully flesh it out, so I thought I was gonna delete it. But then I had like a really big thought and was like, I think I understand what to say about this now. So I made really specific and detailed notes for myself for tomorrow. Like, you need to work on 1, 2, and 3. And they feel really manageable, and I feel like I could get them all done tomorrow. And I will be on track to get this chapter done tomorrow. Taking things one day at a time. I really hope I'm standing here tomorrow telling you that I got the chapter done. At least the first draft. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Here is the fit. This thrifted yellow cardigan, baggy jeans, neutral Adidas, and I'm going to go to campus to lead a dissertation group today. It was initially a foundations group, well, still is a foundations group, but after the first 8 weeks of the semester, it turns into a solidarity group, and we just write together for 3 hours after we set our goals and chat for a bit. So hoping to get a lot of work done. And then I have a shift where I'm tutoring in the writing center for a couple hours. I don't think anyone has signed up with me though, so I hope I can write during that time. Happy Friday. I didn't finish the chapter, you guys. And I was pretty down bad about it last night. And just yesterday, I was in literally the same exact seat in the library from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. grinding, thinking, writing, and things just took longer than I thought that they would, and I had like no brain power left, and I came home and was like, I don't even want to vlog because I'm so mad that I'm gonna have to say I didn't finish a chapter, but I'm gonna finish today. I was really tired. I felt like I was like getting sick, but I know that it was just like allergies because it was like in my ears mostly. And so I slept in. It's like 9:30 right now. And we're gonna get to work today. We are going to actually finish the chapter today. I don't think I have more than 3 paragraphs to write, and it's gonna get done. I think I'm gonna work from home today, just be a little cozy. So first things first, coffee. Okay, another noisy clip. I have the washing machine and the dishwasher going. I'm washing my sheets, and I feel like we've run the dishwasher every day this week, but just been one of those weeks. And I have my coffee. I'm going to log in. I'm gonna write my final 3 paragraphs of this chapter. Let me pull it up so I can talk out loud about what I'm gonna do. Okay, so according to my notes, I am talking about if I had the chance to teach this class again, what I would do differently. And I'm focusing specifically on the final assignment, which I've done like a lot of analysis of students' writings for. And I'm gonna say how I would have redone the assignment sheet, how I would have embedded more specific readings into the course that would have served as models for the type of text that I wanted them to write. It would have brought in a disability studies perspective, and maybe would have brought in some theory about reader sensitivity, etc., etc. And then I'm going to zoom out and talk about the course as a whole and say that ethically I feel like I should have foregrounded and almost like served as like a content warning in a way, and just let students know that we're going to be talking about bodies and you're going to be asked to think critically about your body. So basically, I'm going to say like some specific language I wish I would have added into the course description, specific language I would have put in the syllabus, and then maybe some alternative assignments that I would have given students options to do, or like built-in check-ins into the class. And then I want to have a concluding paragraph about risk in pedagogy. So this is something I think about a lot. I feel like whenever you're doing something new that's sort of like pushing the bounds or something that's innovative, there is always inherently risk involved. And that doesn't mean that it's bad necessarily. So I have a couple of readings that I'm going to look through and maybe pull some like quotes or main ideas there for that final paragraph. So I'm saying it out loud. Sounds like it's going to be 3 paragraphs. I should be able to do this in a couple hours and then be able to have the rest of the day free. Okay, checking in at what I hope is the halfway point of my writing. It is about an hour and a half later. I have written 625 words. That's pretty good. And like I said, I'm at the halfway point. So right now I have already written about the changes that I would make specifically to the final assignment in the course. And now I'm zooming out and talking about the changes that I would make to the course as a whole. I think that this is actually going to be like a shorter word count. And then all I have left is one final paragraph, or maybe even just a couple sentences about risk in pedagogy, but that will involve skimming through a couple of articles. So let's do it. Let's finish up this chapter. Another check-in. It's 12:39. I finished that next section. It is not good. I'm sure I'm gonna have to go back and find some sources for it, but my goal for today is just to finish a first draft of this chapter, so that's something that I can plug in the revision stage. But all I have left is the last paragraph, and I'm feeling excited. The chapter's gonna get done today. So I'm going to read an article right now that comes from Teaching in Higher Education. It's an Australian journal, which so much of the research I cite comes from Australia. They do really cool things with media studies, and one of my favorite books by Emma McGuire, she's based in Australia. Anyway, this one is called Risky Teaching, Developing a Trauma-Informed Pedagogy for Higher Education. And I don't think my class centers on trauma, but my class does ask students to rigorously reflect on their own bodies, which inevitably can be triggering for people. So I want to find ways to minimize that risk, but also ways to talk about how risk-taking isn't inherently bad if you have precautions in place. So I'm hoping that I can find just like a key idea, a key quote to sort of wrap up my last paragraph in this chapter. I finished the chapter! I'm so happy. I am so happy. Okay. This means that all I have left to do, like just to get like the first draft before I go in and, you know, do all the revising, is finish. Honestly, I need to be realistic, and it is a lot. It's probably like the second half of the previous chapter, of chapter 3, but I have way more of a solid game plan of what I'm doing, and I actually think now that I have the 4th chapter done, it'll be easier to write chapter 3, hopefully. Add in, I want to say like a little pizzazz to chapter 2, but there are just some sections that need to be fleshed out and finished, and if I'm being realistic with myself, that scares me a little bit because it involves going back to like YouTube videos, and I'm scared that I won't be able to find what I'm looking for, so that's why I've been putting that one off. And then going back into the first chapter and making sure that everything that I said I was gonna do, you know, back when I wrote that like a year ago, I actually do in the other 3 chapters. And then of course writing a brief conclusion, which I started writing, as I mentioned, the other day, but man, that feels good to have that done. I'm pulling up my schedule now to see where I said that I would be. I said that I would have chapter 4 finished by March 31st. And it is April 4th, so that's not that far off. And now I said that I'm going to finish chapter 3 by April 14th. You see, that I will be shocked if it happens, especially because when I made this little plan for completion table, I was not accounting for having to go to a conference next week. So that's gonna be like several days where I won't be able to like work on the disc or work on the disc like for sustained periods of time. But I gave myself a 1 week buffer for things, so I think I'll be okay. And I said that it was gonna take a full week to finish chapter 2, and I don't think it's going to. I really don't think it's going to. And I said a full week for the conclusion, and it's definitely not going to take a full week for the conclusion. So see, like, lots of buffers. We're still going to be okay. We're still going to finish the disc. This is me convincing myself, not convincing you guys. That's basically the whole plan for finishing the rest of my discs. And I did ask on Instagram on my story, what should I do to reward myself if I finish my chapter today? And people wrote some like really fun things. So lots of people said get a sweet treat, and someone said specifically, honestly, the biggest version of your favorite pastry, which, like, amazing. So new spring clothing item. Someone said Jiffy treat if it's still in Bloomington. It was so good. Shopping. Full 24 hours of not thinking about the disc. Amazing. I love that. A delicious sweet treat, like a whole cake from Whole Foods. Bake something new for the first time, take out from your favorite place. A lot of people said Rita's, which if you know, you know. Pizza night, spring clothes shopping trip, fancy coffee, maybe a mani-pedi. My mom said that. And then one of my friends said a trip to Europe, which that's in the plans anyway, bestie. So I'm gonna take a minute, eat some lunch because I just wrote for like 2 or 3 hours straight. No, longer than that. I wrote for like 4 hours straight. Ah, feels so good. This is what I wanted to feel yesterday, and when I didn't feel it yesterday, I was hard on myself, but we felt it today. Time to cash in on my reward. I'm gonna go to TJ Maxx. I always want to film when I'm in public, and maybe once I move to Miami, I'll feel more comfortable there, but I just can't do it. I don't know. I get so nervous every time. Maybe I can try and film like me shopping on my phone. We'll see, but I'm excited. I'm not gonna spend money unless it's like some specific things I'm looking for. Much later. It is Sunday, and I realized I never ended off this vlog and gave you guys the update on the really exciting TJ Maxx purchase that I made. I've been looking everywhere for like an Anthropologie dupe for one of those like sequins bags, like beaded bags, because Anthropologie charges like $90 for them, and I can't pay that, and I really just wanted one for Greece. I found this for $35 at TJ Maxx. There's cherries, and it's just pink. I'm obsessed. So cute. I literally went when I found it, and it was a nice little way to celebrate finishing the chapter. Also, I didn't vlog at all yesterday, or really at all on Friday night when I finished, because I simply rotted, and it was great. It was so nice just to take time to rest and not think about the dissertation for a full like 48 hours. It was very much needed. And then I also went through basically my entire closet with Megan and started planning some stuff for Greece. I have some potential outfits there that I need to try on. I tried to order some Tevas, but they don't quite work, so that's sad. Also, I planned out all of my outfits, and we made a game plan for the big conference that Megan and I are attending next week in Baltimore. It's the 4Cs conference. So I'm going to try and vlog that whole trip, actually. I think it'll be a really fun vlog. It's going to be a vlog sort of centered around what conferences are like as a grad student and how we're trying really hard to save some money, because we only got a couple $100s, and conferences typically cost closer to $1,000 at least. So stick around for that next vlog. But thank you all so much for watching this one. I hope that you have milestones of your own to celebrate, whether they're writing related, academic related, or just like life related. I feel like, I don't know, we're nearing the end of the spring semester, and it's like the push time, but it's also like time to take a look back and be excited about all that you've accomplished so far. So if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and do that. I would love if you would leave a comment or message me on Instagram. I just love chatting with you guys in any way, shape, or form. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!